This Veterans Day celebration and to share with you my father's service in the First World War. Of course, I wasn't around back then, but my father wrote a wonderful journal of his 3 years in that war, and I still have that. My father was Neil S. Forsyth and was born and raised in southern Utah on his father's ranch. He rode a horse or rode a few horses almost every day. Cars were not very popular back then. In his late 20s, his parents took their farm animals and all their belongings on the train to Alberta, Canada, where good soil and abundance of moisture was very invaluable. Neil was teaching school in southern Utah, and so he did not go to Canada with his parents. After a few years, when he was 31 years old, he went to Canada to visit, then decided to stay. He met and married his wife and made his home there. And now, Canada is part of the British Empire. So when Britain goes to war, so does Canada go to war. So the First World War with Germany started in 1914. By 1916, they started calling married men and with families to active duty. And my father, because my father loved horses so much, he joined the cavalry in the army in Britain. And they trained him to be a veterinarian. That's a horse doctor. They kept him off the front lines of battle, so he was never wounded in battle. However, he was accidentally poisoned with belladonna, was gassed with German mustard gas, and was nearly hit with shrapnel from a bomb. In August 1918, the war had turned in our favor, so he was on the front lines, pushing the Germans out of Belgium and France, and the Armistice Peace Treaty was signed November 11, 1918, and the war was over. But my father went from England to Brussels, Belgium, where he was in charge of selling the army horses. This took him until April 15. Now he had to wait for a ship so that he could get back home to be with his family. He'd been away for a full 3 years. Just 20 years later, in 1939, and I remember this, when Adolf Hitler, the leader of Germany, attacked France, Belgium, Poland, Norway, and Sweden, his plan was to take over the world. Great Britain and the United States gathered their forces together. Now my father had 3 sons who joined the service. Our oldest brother was 32 years old, and he was a principal of the school there in Canada. And he signed up as a navigator in the Air Force. He was sent to England for further training, and in January 1944, his flight crew was assigned to a heavy conversion bombing unit with 500 planes in it. Their first night of bombing was on the outskirts of Paris, and from then on, they had regular night runs flying 400 to 500 miles over Germany. On April 27, 1944, 100 planes were sent out on a 500-mile run to hit Germany's communication systems. They successfully hit their target, but on the return flight, my brother's plane was shot down over Belgium, and there were no survivors. 15 planes of the 100 never returned that fateful night. After December 1941, when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor with great losses to the U.S., we declared war on Japan. President Roosevelt now met regularly friendship in Belgium, Germany, Japan, and Italy. They worked together to form the United Nations with 51 countries against Germany, Japan, and Italy. We hope this would end world wars forever. May we always appreciate this great country we live in and honor the great troops who fight to give their lives for our freedom.
Girls, there's so many stories of heroism and courage and strength, but there was a story that came by our office that we want to highlight. Is T.P. Thompson here? Come here, sweetie. Come up here. I want you to stand up here. This is a story about T.P. Thompson's great-grandfather. There, oh, we might have a picture of it, maybe not. We have a picture of it right there. See with the flag on it? That's a picture of his great-grandfather. I want you to stand right here so everybody can see you, because this is about your great-grandpa. Okay. In 1943, in England, his great-grandfather flew 13 missions until he was shot down. He parachuted to safety. He was okay. And he was taken in by a family, hidden, so that the Germans couldn't find him. Well, while he was in the house, he realized that he was being sheltered with some Jewish families. And if he stayed there, they would find out and they would cause a lot of trouble with the whole household. So his great-grandpa had to make a decision. Should he turn himself in, or should he stay and harm, risk everyone else's lives? So this brave man bravely turned himself in to save all the other people in the house. He became a prisoner of war for 14 months and lived in a prison camp. But he was liberated, that means he was set free at the end of the war. And when the war was over, he was considered a hero in Belgium. This is where he was at. He's been honored in Holland many years. His parachute was later found and made into a wedding dress by one of the family members' girls who was in the house at the time and later grew up and honored him so much she made her wedding dress out of his parachute material. The dress is currently on display in a museum in Holland to this day. Isn't that cool? Let's hear it for his brother.